At 11, retail sales are sluggish across the country, but could the capital region be bucking the trend?
Plus, more and more New Yorkers without jobs. A closer look at the rising unemployment numbers and what it all means.
And a cold forecast and snow up north.
Join us at 11.
News 10 is next.
Live from WTEN, this is News 10 at 11 on the news station.
Local retailers gear up for the holiday shopping season, and despite slumping consumer confidence, some area stores are still bustling with activity. A new report by New York's Retail Council shows stores across the state are bracing for what they're saying will be a challenging holiday season.
But many say they're still confident enough to hire the same or more seasonal employees than in years past. Still, retailers are offering more sales and lowering prices for consumers. And that means people are changing the way they shop, spreading it out over a longer period of time to lessen big bills in January. New at 11, News 10's Demetra Ganias shows us that despite low consumer confidence, one local mall says it's not seeing a slowdown.
Last year, Clifton Park Center was under renovation, so naturally it was expected that this year business would pick up. But mall managers and tenants say they're shocked by just how much. They say both the number of people in the mall and the sales figures are all pointing in the right direction.
I know in black and white that businesses are not suffering.
The general manager of Clifton Park Center says consumer confidence is not a problem here. Recently, the mall jumped from 54 to 75 merchants, and nearly everyone is seeing growing sales.
The mall has been really busy. I've had a steady flow of traffic, even on a quiet Monday.
Donna Hall owns My Wicks and More. She just opened in the mall a month ago after leaving Latham. She says one factor behind the busy mall may be gas prices.
Now that they've gone down, people are relaxing a little bit more. They're feeling a little more comfortable.
Another owner-operated store is Times Square, which has been in this mall 30 years.
We did anticipate it being slow and being overstocked, but at this point, I'm actually thinking maybe I do need to order again.
Clifton Park Center says despite whatever doom and gloom is forecast for this holiday season, this shopping center is bucking the trend, at least for now.
I think I'm going to do better this year than I did last year. I really believe that.
Most often, the holiday season will make or break a business for the year. But tenants here say if the next 6 to 8 weeks bring what they've seen in the recent past, they're optimistic that they'll be in the black for 2008. At Clifton Park Center, Demetra Ganias, News 10.
Meantime, the number of New Yorkers applying for unemployment benefits is on the rise. The state labor department says the number of applications have jumped nearly 30% in the last year statewide, and about a third of the recipients are running out of their 6 months of benefits without finding a new job. That's on top of another 56,000 people across New York who've used up their extended benefits without finding work. New at 11, News 10's Egan takes a closer look at the rising numbers here in the capital region and what it means for those looking for a job.
If you're job hunting, whether you're unemployed or looking for a career change, you may find it hard to market yourself. Renee Sayers at Fusco Personnel specializes in finding work for quality candidates who need it most, but she says the number of people looking is higher than ever.
There's just so many good people out there that unfortunately are losing their jobs because larger companies are downsizing.
And now because of this trend, unemployment has risen here in the capital region by 36% when compared with this time last year. And according to Sayers, some of these people have been without a job for a year, even more in some cases. And it's positions like human resources or sales that are being affected the most, but they're not the only ones.
It's all levels, all walks of life. I've seen a lot of higher-end people that have come in here used to making well over 6 figures. They've worked for a company for 25 plus years, and I'm trying to explain to them, it's not reality.
Just to find their way back into the workplace, many job seekers are being forced to accept lower-paying positions. At the same time, Sayers says employers are getting better people for a smaller price. Put simply, there's a greater demand for jobs than for the people that work them.
There's not as many jobs out there that there is applicants at this time, it appears.
In Albany, Egan, News 10.
New York lawmakers return to Albany next week for a special emergency session to deal with the effects of the financial downturn on the state budget. But don't get your hopes up, because Senate Republicans claim Governor Patterson is exaggerating when it comes to New York's deficit. The governor says it will be $47 billion in 4 years. And if the Republicans refuse to budge, it's unlikely Assembly Democrats will pass the budget cuts on their own.
I can't see any movement for doing an awful lot right now. in either house or either party.
If somebody's worried that the cuts aren't needed, then I think it's up to the governor to show how bad the economy is, and I think he can do that.
I'm a state worker.
Special interest groups like the public employee unions are pressing the lawmakers. Senate Republicans who lost their majority last week seem inclined to wait, though, until Democrats take control in January and let them take the heat for budget cuts. The federal government's tab for bailing out insurance giant AIG just keeps on climbing. It's jumping from $85 billion to more than $150 billion now. And there's also been a big surprise from the Federal Reserve tonight. It's granted the request of American Express to become a bank holding company, and that will allow the credit card giant to get access to low-cost reserve financing.
Tonight, President-elect Barack Obama's camp confirming its intention to close the Guantanamo Bay Detention Center. Now, according to reports, terrorism suspects would instead be prosecuted here in the United States. This news comes after Obama's visit to the White House earlier today. He got a personal tour from the man who will turn over the keys to him in January. And as ABC's TJ Winnick reports, it was a family affair.
President-elect Barack Obama and wife Michelle pulled up to the most famous address in America, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and received a warm welcome from the President and First Lady.
There must be tension beneath the surface because Obama spent millions attacking the Bush record, both in foreign policy and domestic policy.
But there was no sign of partisanship as the two men walked along the colonnade. It wasn't Obama's first trip to the White House, but it was his first time inside the Oval Office, where Presidents 43 and 44 discussed important domestic and foreign policy issues.
I don't think any of us can understand what it's like for two people who are now going to be in a very small club, who understand what it's like to be the commander-in-chief, to be the leader of our great country.
While the two men were talking business, Laura Bush was showing the future First Lady the private White House living quarters.
They saw the small office that Mrs. Bush, has upstairs, and she told her, this is the place where you can look out this window and you can see the Oval Office.
And the questions Michelle Obama asked, what most moms would be concerned about.
How do we do the routine things like make an appointment, a personal appointment of any type? How do the girls get